Hello and welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today we have the pleasure of having with us Eric Wickham from RGB Imaging. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Rory.
You're a photography company. Can you give us an overview of what you do?
Well, RGB Imaging is a digital photography media production firm that's located in Virginia Beach. We specialize in commercial portraiture for commercial applications and local businesses here in the Hampton Roads. We operate out of a 2,000 square foot facility, and that's pretty much what we do on a daily basis.
Is that facility in Virginia Beach?
Yes, it is.
It's
located in the Taylor Farms Commerce Park.
Okay, so that's where you would do studio shoots?
Yes.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, and so how long have you been doing this?
The studio itself has been in business since 2007. I took ownership of it in 2010, rebranded it, moved the facility, and ramped up its game and brought it up to the level where it needs to be to successfully advertise the small businesses in Hampton Roads, for example.
Okay, and you know, I've interviewed some other photographers, but I know that when I talk to you on the phone, you deal with a lot of commercial photography,
Yes.
which is something the other ones really didn't do. So and what type of services do you provide for the commercial area? I mean, is it machines or product shots, or is it buildings or corporate portraits, or what?
Well, I mean, actually, everything you just mentioned, we have the capability to do. Everything from small, excuse me, product shots or food shots styled for the local restaurants. A couple of our clients are international defense contractors, so we're going out in the field, taking pictures of aircraft or equipment that's in work in the field, in the mud, for example, to executive headshots for LinkedIn profiles, company web pages.
Right.
Smaller product lines and clothing lines.
Now, you mentioned food shots. I know in the video world, that's not the easiest thing to get to look good or get to look the way you want. You find that pretty challenging?
It is definitely a challenge. You have to be one with the chef that's creating it. Most of the time we either use a food stylist directly, or one of us is standing over the chef as it's being cooked and prepared, and we help organize it and set up the plate, so it does give it the best angle, the best aspect, the best light for the setting that we're using it in.
Right, I've had occasion to try to do that with video, and I knew it was not easy to make it look the way you would like it to look. Okay, so when you said you do these services for corporate clients, you do all kinds of sizes for them. I mean, it could be a billboard, or it could be for a magazine. You mentioned LinkedIn, but it could be any size. Have you done some we might? No?
We have, the largest we've done is a couple billboards. Those are actually out in the state of California. I have yet to even get so much as an iPhone image of that one. I believe they're going up next week. Locally here in Hampton Roads, a lot of the websites, Hampton Roads website has some of our images across the banner, which is nice to see. One real good example of a lot of our work is with our nonprofit charity that we support, which is Wounded Wear, which is
they've been
on your show.
And so you do some pretty work, and as a matter of fact, some of that work is displayed on the page for Wounded Wear. So, so you do it with all different types of corporate clients. What do you find is there a niche, or do you deal with all kinds?
We have the capability to handle all types of clients. One of our smallest is one of the local retail food trucks that sells nothing but cupcakes, for example. We have a couple clients that, like I said, we're international defense contractors. With my military background, I blend real well with that community of the defense contractors, because I've spent 20 years talking the same language as these guys. So I have the familiarity. I know exactly what they're trying to convey in their message.
All right, so it's a mixture of is it just small businesses, or is it large ones as well? I mean, major ones.
It's our clientele base is across the board.
Okay, so anybody basically that has a need. Okay, cool. All right. So what tools do you use in your photography? Because I know everything you're doing all this in house.
Yes.
So what tools do you use, or what are some of the things that you can do? Do you do touch-ups and I'm
We are full service. Everything is in-house. So from initial concept and communication with the client and the conception of the project is done by our staff. All the production is done by our staff. All the post-processing is done by our staff, including all the delivery.
okay?
So all the way through, very rarely do we have to subcontract out. If we do, we have a couple very trusted source individuals that are also local that we trust and have the same game plan mentality for the end product that we do.
Right. So now someone has a huge machine or something, they could call you in and you could shoot the machine, and then you're able to put it in a background or something that looks nice and all. You know, and I'm saying a huge machine, I mean, you know, one as big as this room or bigger. So you have those capabilities
Yes,
as well.
we do.
Okay. All right. Okay. May know some clients. It's hard to find photographers that'll shoot machines.
Right.
You know. So, okay. All right. So now I know, and I just described a machine sitting in a warehouse or sitting where it was manufactured is not in the ideal location. But
Right.
one of the things that you told me is that you a lot of times shoot in non-studio settings.
Yes.
Can you give us an example of some of those?
One of our clients, Fawn Trackway, they're a English-based defense contractor. One of their systems is a portable roadway system. That truck is 4 axles. Its total weight's about 70,000 pounds. It is bigger than this room. Obviously, I can't shoot that in a studio setting. So one of the big projects we did for them, we were in the mud, we were in the sand, we were in the woods. So by the time the end of the day, I'm covered in mud, I'm covered in sand fleas and everything else, and you know, we're shooting photo and video work for them for all their literature and marketing material for their trade shows.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a good example. All right. Next question that I had down here is what makes you different from a lot of the other services out there? Would you say?
I think one of the biggest things that sets us apart is not only are we creatives by trade and have been in the arts for years, but both myself and my other photographer, Paul Chin, we both actually have business backgrounds on top of it. So we don't necessarily always think things just from a creative perspective, but we also realistically look at it from a business perspective. So when we're conferring on a project, we're conferring with that client and we're thinking about the return on investment. Say, for example, the project budget was $4,000. I want to make sure that you're getting the return on investment off of your sales or whatever you're trying to accomplish with that media to be able to justify the $4,000 price tag, for example.
All right. Now, of course, you're using high-end equipment.
Yes.
So, of course, with everybody with an iPhone now, everybody's got a camera. But there is a difference between, obviously, the quality of what you can do, but it's also a difference in knowing what you're doing. So you have good equipment matched with skill, and that's what I would say is a good starting point for a professional photographer. Anything else that you would add to that?
You have to be able to visualize what you want to accomplish. Whether it's commercial photography, taking a picture of a beer brand, I'll use that as an example since we have the small craft beers around here, to showcase that, or even a family portrait. You have to go into the mindset of see what's available to you in your surroundings, what message you want to convey, whether it's a family portrait or a commercial portrait. So you have to be able to compose it and also create the end message.
Do you find that with with social media growing like it is, that you're getting more people doing portraits and all, let's say for Facebook or LinkedIn or something that has to do with the social media kind of thing?
It's definitely a emerging factor in the business. We do make available images specifically sized for Facebook, for example, in our family portrait sessions. I do the same thing for my commercial clients because obviously they want to be able to share these new images through Facebook, Google+, the LinkedIn company pages. But obviously we're going to size and format those in the end differently than we would for a billboard,
Right.
for example.
And what is the turnaround time for something like that you do? It probably varies, I would say.
It does vary. Shorter, more editorial style shots of event coverage for a corporate event, we can have a spin on them within 48 hours. If it's an item heavy advertising for a billboard, for example, there's a lot of processing that has to go into it, make sure it's of quality. So when you're driving down the road, you're seeing exactly what you want to see. The larger the image, the more controlled you have to be on the quality. So it varies depending on the size and the scale of the project and the end use.
All right. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you wanted to mention?
No, I can't think of anything else at this time, Rory.
Okay, all right.
Thank you for having us.
Well, if you are in need of a photographer, you have a company, you need an update on your LinkedIn profile page, or you have a product that you need, even food, that you would need to have photographed, then give Eric a call, and his information is at the end of this video, and it's at the bottom of this page. I thank you for coming in, and I wish you a great deal of success.
Thank you very much,
All right,
Rory.
thank you.